If we look at Donegal, there's been a lot said about them. There's been a lot happening in the county. It would be impossible to sum it all up now. But we might reference Cara O'Kane in the Irish News about a week and a half ago. Had this really long, detailed, researched piece going through lots of things that have happened since Karl Lacey stepped down as the head of their academy in early January. The under-14s, 15s and 16s coaches left as well. The 17s and 20s stayed in place. Most people within Donegal, the likes of Eamon McGee, came out and said it's like having a lottery ticket and flushing it down the toilet, in reference to Karl Lacey leaving. When you then look at what's happening out on the pitch, in many ways, does that kind of reflect the disarray that appears to be within Donegal football at the moment?
Well, it seems like that. Karl Lacey departing was the opening of the Pandora's box, Joanne, and since then, it's baffling for me, even as a Tyrone man looking in outside, as much as I enjoy seeing Donegal suffer at times. The level of expertise and high performance they have in Karl Lacey, Jim McGuinness, Michael Murphy, people of those that doesn't, they're generational type winners, and to let guys like that disappear from a county fold all within a year is shambolic, really. And you look at this disconnect that sometimes can be there in the GAA. You have to remember the GAA organisation, the way it's set up, is that sometimes amateurs and guys that sit in committees are so far removed from the high performance culture that exists within the mindset of those type of players. You've just a massive disconnect, because Karl Lacey doesn't understand why the county isn't supporting him to try and push on the youth of Donegal to get them back to All Ireland's. That's just wrong, the way in which there's that disconnect there. Now, it happens in other clubs, happens in other counties, but it's playing out in an absolute shambles right now in Donegal, and the team is reflecting the way in which it is. Yeah,
and I think it's not fair. Like, the biggest thing here is there's underage academies, 14s, 15s, 16s. There's kids, teenagers missing out because there's obviously a communication issue or a row between two bodies that's not been sorted. And I think if, like, Donegal want to progress and get better, and, we can look at their stats of minor titles and under-20 titles. I think they've competed and won minor All-Ireland in their history, and, they've won the least Ulster titles. I think Antrim have more than them at minor level. So obviously Karl Lacey went in, wanted to fix that, do a job. And there's obviously people on committees now that are opposed to that. So
we don't fully know exactly what it is. I mean, Cara did speak to both sides of the fence to try to get both of it. We don't know the ins and outs of what happened, obviously. What we do know is the consequences so far have happened. We do know that Jim McGuinness went on the Irish Examiner podcast just this week and said he offered to help out. But once Rory Kavanagh dropped out of the race to become the manager of Donegal, he never received, according to Jim McGuinness, he never was contacted again by the board.
Yeah, but it's very hard to understand. As Seán said, you have generational players and coaches in McGuinness, Michael Murphy, you have Karl Lacey, people like that, that you need involved in Donegal football to bring Donegal football back to the top. And these players, they were involved and are not involved anymore. And we've a load of coaches that steps down with Lacey. There's something wrong there.
But there's a GAA. The GAA as an organisation does this, as in, like, there's men that sit on committees right across the country that aren't qualified to make decisions that will impact upon performance, that it will impact upon sometimes financials. The Donegal, their last accounts were running a business that has 1.6 million of turnover of income. Sometimes people, and by the way, none of us really know what happens in these committees, but sometimes the people there just aren't of the same mindset and qualifications to run that in an efficient and effective manner that's getting the best for Donegal football. And it almost looks like that right now. It looks like there's just a real mess playing out in public that Donegal is only going to be the only loser.
I do think we know that. You look at the counties that are succeeding nowadays. We look at the Dublins and the counties at the real top. We looked at their structures have been very good over the last decade or so to get their senior team to a place and to get them to the top. So obviously Donegal had them structures in place. Karl Lacey tries to come in and put them in place, and they're needed in every county if they want to succeed. So that's what the problem, the issue is there, that the structures need to be in place, but there's a disagreement in that. So I think it's unfortunately for Donegal and for underage systems in Donegal, it's really disheartening for them to see this, and then on top of that, their senior team not performing.
Okay.